This is Celia with Celia's Chalk and Plays, and my sister Adele is on the camera, and she is from Adele Chalks It. And we have a video today that is just a basic tips and tools video that we're going to be doing. We're going to be using a Chalk Couture porcelain chalkboard. These are the best chalkboards that you can find, and this one in particular came with my kit. The tools that we're going to be using are, we have squeegees. This is their big 4-inch squeegee, and it's a really good one, but for what we're doing today, this is not needed. And then they have their angled squeegee, and this one's a real good squeegee. It has the nice angles and things on it, and I use this more often than I do the big one. The big one I use on big transfers, but this one I use quite often on medium transfers and medium jobs, I should say. And then this is their regular size squeegee. And this squeegee is really nice. It's a good size, but I like to take and cut it in half. As you can see here, this is one squeegee, and I've cut it in half, and I use this size more than any size. And then we've also taken it from time to time and we've cut it into fourths. And for little tiny things, this is a great tool to use, this little tiny one. Okay, so we're going to get started now, and we are going to be doing the established transfer, and this is what it looks like in the package. But I have one that I've already opened up and we've used part of it. So today we're going to use it. We have this much that hasn't been used. And so to use this, you notice that there's little white lines on the transfer. And those are where we are going to cut the numbers off so that we can use those. So we'll begin by doing that real quick. So just be patient with me while I do this.
We are chalking sisters.
And Adele and I, my sister, are getting up here and getting busy. We wanted to prepare some videos that would help anyone who was interested and got on our sites to learn how to do the chalking.
Once they got the product, yeah.
Once they got the product, right. Once they ordered some product. And so I'm going to put the ones that I'm not using over there. And I'm not cutting them all apart. I'm just going to get the ones that I'm going to use. That way we can save a little bit of time. Okay, so those that I'm not going to be using are set right there. All right. To begin with, I'm going to put this one on first. And this is our established wreath, and it's really nice because it already has the established abbreviated right there. And we're going to just real carefully roll a corner, and it's usually not real hard to get a corner to come off. And I think some people try too hard, which I'm trying to get over here where the end is a little bit. Here, I tell you, it's real easy, and then it takes me forever to do it. It's probably because I'm on camera. I feel intimidated. Okay, here it is. But when you go to pull it, you need to pull gently. And getting it off the paper is real easy. But you really want to be careful as you pull it off the paper so that you don't stretch it, because you don't want to stretch it out. Just set that right there out of the way. Okay, so we're just going to take this now because this is so sticky. Now these transfers are different. A lot of people think they look like stencils, but as you can see through that. You can see me through this, and there is a silk fabric in there. And so these are actually silk screens. But because they're so sticky, if they stick too hard to your board and you go to pull them up, it will stretch and ruin your stencil. Or not stencil, excuse me, transfer. I shouldn't have said that word. And so we're going to do what we call fuzzing. And we're just going to stick it on a tea towel that we have here. And we're going to rub it down and get it fuzzed just a little bit so that it won't stick so hard. See how it's sticking to the tea towel? That shows you how much sticky is on the back. And so now we've got it fuzzed. We're going to stick it down here on our Chalk Couture board. And this is actually called the Aden Chalk Couture board.
The what?
Aden, A-D-E-N. Aden. Let me eyeball this. Get it down there. I think we're a little too far over to that side. I'm going to fuzz it again. That seemed like it was way sticky still, and we don't want it to be that sticky. Gotta watch my eyes here putting it down because I had a tendency to move it way too far over to my left. It wouldn't be your left, but it was my left. Went down. Still think I'm doing that. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, now real importantly, that is what this is used for. As you start from the inside and you take your squeegee and you can rub it across your board and you can make sure that you get all the bubbles out. Now the most important, you hear that pop? That was where there was a bubble and the bubble came out. I don't have to go all the way to the edge. I only have to go over the area. You can see that bubble there. Do you see that in there? That one's not important because we're not doing any chalking around it, but there's a bubble right there. And we have to make sure all the area where we're going to chalk doesn't have a bubble. Especially the silk screen. You want that silk screen to be, it's sticky, and you want to make sure that it stays down. Okay, we're going to begin by using Evergreen, which is a more or less what it says it is. It's evergreen. It's a darker green, but it's a real pretty, nice foliage green. We're going to open this up, and it's been a while since I used it, so it's a little gunky. In fact, I haven't used it since I was at a sister reunion recently, and it got pretty messy there because we had a lot of fun doing some chalking. Okay, now I'm going to take one of these makeup spatulas that you see all the time in stores. You can find them anywhere that they sell makeup generally. And I'm going to go inside this jar and scrape down those sides real good. And I'm going to stir my chalk paste. And you want this chalk paste to be, they say about the consistency of yogurt. I have a hard time with that description because Greek yogurt is really thick. So if you're a Greek yogurt lover, please do not make it Greek yogurt. We want it to be where it is fairly thin, but you don't want it too thin. If it's too thin, it'll run and it'll cause bleeding. So you have to make sure it's the right consistency. And then we have a little mister bottle, and this mister bottle I just picked up online. And I'm just going to move away from there, and I'm going to put one squirt in and stir it up until I get the consistency that looks better, that I think. And it only takes a little squirt. You got to do it little by little because you don't want to get it running. Okay, that looks good. You see that? It's got a lot of bubbles in it for me stirring it, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our squeegee. If you'll notice, there's a little angled edge to it. And this is the side that we're going to work with. We're going to put the paste on this way, not using the back. We're going to use this side. And so I'll just dip it into the paste, get a little bit there. And then you're going to go off your transfer. You're going to go up into the blue part to put it down. And because this is, we're going to have to do this real quickly. because this goes all the way around, and you want to try to make sure you get your lines out, but you don't have to do that right off the bat. But we're going to try to work this on real quickly. I want you to notice those lines I'm leaving in. Those have to be taken out. And you want to get enough paste on real quickly that so it doesn't dry. Because if it dries in the actual silk screen, when you pull it up, it's going to come up with that actual silk screen. So you need to hurry and, oh, I see a bubble. So when I pull it off, I'm going to have to pull in that direction and see if I can't repair it. Okay, let me get these lines out. Go over it, pull a few lines out. I don't know if that bubble's gonna make a, oh, it's not gonna make a difference. It's off the screen. Okay, so I'm gonna get these lines out real quickly.
What about the rest of the established? You doing that last?
Oh, I'm gonna have to do that separately because I made a mistake. I didn't want to do it green. Shall we do it green?
You don't have a choice now.
Yeah, thank you for telling me that. I was going to do it white, but we're not going to do it white now. I'll just do the numbers in white.
Maybe we can wipe it off.
Yep, we'll see. Okay, so now we need to get it up. We need to get it up quickly so that, and it's really down there tight because this is a new transfer. And it's important that you don't pull from the corners. It's easy to lift it from the corner. Trying to get hold of this one. It's easy to lift it from the corner, but if you lift it from the corners, and this one's kind of stretchy. And that established didn't work out good anyway, so we'll just take that off and we'll redo it.
Oh, I think it looks fine.
Looks fine from your side. I think the E was a little, but it may be
Faint.
okay. Yeah. We can fix that though later. But look how beautiful that is. Look how pretty that turned out. That turned out so good. Now we're going to take it and we're just going to place this transfer in water. Because this will all wash off and you can use this transfer over and over many times. I've heard other designers say that they've used their transfer as many as 80 times. And it's still good. Okay.
Hold it up and show it to me.
Hold on. My fingers are wet.
Okay.
Okay, that's where we are so far.
I think that E looks fine, but it is a little faint on that upper
part of the E.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, I also noticed that I got a little bit, and I didn't mention that, but I got a little bit of chalk paste on the board, which isn't any problem because it washes up, and we can just, I'm using Lysol wipes, but you can use Lysol or Clorox. I said that absolutely wrong. But now that I'm through using the green, I want to go ahead real quick and I want to stir my paste and then put a squirt or two of the water in from the mister. And I want to make sure that's stirred in there to help keep it nice and moist for the next time that we use it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Lysol wipe and I'm going to clean this upper edge. And as I clean this upper edge off my paste, then it provides a nice seal when you put the lid back on. So then we'll take and put the lid back on. And then I'm just going to set this green spatula that needs washed off right here in the water because we can wash it off later. And then so we can go ahead and put the numbers on. We're going to hit it with, I think here we go, we got it. get it with a warm dryer. I don't want to get it with a hot dryer. Some boards will heat up too much. Really important part. As we go to put the gear in here, if we do not dry this out, then it's possible that we're going to be pulling up what we've already put down and got made real pretty. Okay, so what we're going to do now, due to this, is I noticed how much that transfer was sticking. I'm going to pull some pieces of the backing that I've had from other transfers out. And I saved these little pieces. And we're going to use only the shiny side, but it helps for me to put it down wherever I think the transfer is going to be going down, that it might stick to our already created little established wreath that we have. Okay, we do have a little piece here that maybe I need a little piece over that. Let me see if there's a little one. There is one. Perfect size. And of course, we got to make sure the shiny side's up on all of these. There's a dull side and there's a shiny side. We want to make sure it's the shiny side each time. So, hopefully, I don't know, these might be too far over. I need to move. This one can come down. I want to make sure I have room to get the numbers on here. Now there's a really neat way that I have been shown on how to get these numbers to go on evenly. And so we're going to try that today and see if that works out. You can also put these on yourself or on the clothes that you're wearing, whatever you've got, to fuzz them up a little bit. So as difficult as it was to get it off that towel right here, I'm going to just set these on my apron here and try to fuzz them up. And that way they'll be a little bit easier to get off. I'm going to use another one of these long strips that we've had, and we know that the established ends right there, so I'm going to set it right there, and we know how big the numbers are, so the numbers need to go about in this space right here, and we want it to basically be centered, so we have to be able to see kind of where the wreath begins and ends there, so that we can, oops, didn't mean to do that. And so we're going to try to set it between, and I'm going to just fold this right there and put a little crease in it so I know where that is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and I probably ought to do it on here so that they don't, I have them on a surface they can stick to. So, my husband and I were married in 1973. So I'm going to take and put the one on, and I'm just going to set it to where it's a little bit on the paper. I didn't have to stick it down hard. I don't know why I did that. Which one's the 9? And here's the 9. But I want to space them out so that they're about the right space in between. And I want to make sure that the bottom of them is about the same. And I'm just eyeballing this to try to do it about the same every time. But it helps to have this edge of the paper too to actually look at as you're setting it down. It just keeps you, and yes, it's hard to get it exactly where you want to get it when you got bad eyes like me, I guess. That one's too high, I can see already. Yep, it's obviously showing too high. Can you see that? I can see it. I'm going to set it like this. There we go. Well, leave it to me to at least get it on crooked. Move it over. There we go. All right, now we're back to the 3. You can space these out however you want. I've never done this transfer before using the numbers, so you know I'm going to do it. And if it doesn't turn out like I want it, then I can always take it off and do it again. That's a beautiful thing about Chalk Couture. So there I have my numbers down. Oops, those 2 didn't come up with me.
Too sticky.
And put them down. I'm just going to stick them to the white part. Okay. And now what we do is we're going to come and center it here where this established is. I think that's straight. I'm just going to rub where the silk screen is. We don't have to rub the outside edges. I'm just going to rub where the silk screen is. And then this part here, we're just going to take it off. We don't need that anymore.
But you could leave it on, right?
You could leave it on if it was not too close to your silk. You want to stay away from it because if you don't, it's going to get a little, and that 3 looks a little cockeyed. Looks like it's tipped a little bit. It's funny what you see once you finally get it down there. Okay, I don't know if that is quite even or not. So much for it just doesn't look right. I don't like the 7. I think it's me. What do you think, Adele?
Well, yeah.
My sister thinks I'm OCD. She's correct. Okay, here we go again. We got another chalk.
It would have been okay for me 3 times ago, but that's just the difference in us.
Okay, I'm pulling out the chalk. And this one has been turned cockeyed traveling, and so it's kind of got a bunch of gunk on the lid, so it was a little difficult to open. So we're going to scrape that off the lid. Again, we're going to grab another one of these little makeup spatulas. And you can see how thick this one is. Look how thick that is. It definitely needs, look at that. It definitely needs some water in it. So I'm gonna put a few in there and get it stirred up real quick because we're almost done with this. Can you believe it? We're almost done, and we're gonna have a beautiful piece of work that looks like we spent hours on it.
And a lot of money.
Oh yeah. How much do you buy these at some of these retail stores that sell decorative things these days?
$40.
Or more.
Or more.
It all depends. Okay. This looks like it's about right, so I'm going to reach in because I don't need much with this little tool. And I'm going to do all of these at one time because I'm able to. All of them are overlapping, but I just have to be real careful not to get, and I'm coming above. All right, I think they're all done. Let's get some little excess off here. Take some lines out real carefully. I'm not gonna take that one out because looks like I about went over the edge, and so we're not gonna do that one. And then very carefully, we'll start at the end because that's the logical place to be. And see, I did get some on there. I'm just going to place it over here in the water if I can get it off my finger. And we're just going to grab them one at a time. Look how pretty those letters are.
Numbers.
Numbers. Whatever those things are. Man, these things are so sticky, they're wanting to stay on my fingers.
That means they'll last a long time.
That's true. And I love how pretty these come out on the chalk couture boards. They look so nice. So you're wondering, oh dear, and I don't have them out. But we've got a little goofy thing there, so I'm just gonna take my wet finger and I'm just gonna rub it. And we'll get all these little silly papers off of here. And take them off. And you can see where I rubbed a couple of places, but that's okay. We'll clean it up here in a minute. But look how nice that is.
Yeah, I think if the established would have been white, it would have popped more.
Oh yeah,
Right?
Right. And we could add things to it later. Right now, I'm gonna set it down. We're gonna show you how to wash these off real quick. It's not hard. You just lightly rub, and the
Paste.
we're gonna need the tea towel over here now. And the paste comes off. We don't worry about whether it stains it. Important part is that it comes out of the screen. But we're gonna get as much of this off as we can. And once we get it off, well, it's hard to see working in a pan. I'm used to working under a faucet. But I think this is pretty close. Yep, this is pretty close. I'm gonna go ahead and set this down here. But we need to, oh, it wants to curl on me. That's okay, we'll get it. But I'm gonna turn it back over. She was helping me with the curls, but that's okay. But we're gonna wipe it off, and notice how there was some green on there. And this is just taking that excess green, and you wanna make sure that all your silk screen's clean, which it's clean, it's been soaking in the water. So it's doing really good. And then we're going to turn it over, and it's real important that you do this and that you clean. Now see, there's a piece there. That you clean this off, because this helps, and we use the Clorox or the Lysol wipes, it helps the sticky to remain. And so we're gonna leave it sitting there with the sticky side up, and we're gonna go ahead and real quickly wash off our numbers. And again, we'll do the same thing with them. I should have done the other side first. There.
And how would you store these?
Okay, once we get done, we will be sticking them to the folios right there, which Adele can turn the camera on it. And this is a folio that I purchased online, and it's for photos actually, but it has these plastic sheets. Now you can't, they don't advise you sticking it on page protectors. Those do not release the transfer as well, and it can ruin them. So here I have already washed up my transfers, and they are sitting waiting to dry, and I can't put them in until they get dry. The only thing I have left to do is to real quickly treat my paste and stir it well so that it's ready to, and this is really thick, so I was going to put quite a bit in. But we're going to stir it real well and get that thick stuff that was on the top where it can get reconstituted. This paste will last a long time if you take care of it. If you take care of it like you should, This paste will last a good long time. Okay, I'm gonna throw this in the water. And, I guess I need another one of these. I should have had a wet washcloth here because I really like for stuff like this, just to use a wet washcloth. I don't like to use these Lysol wipes all the time. They are a little potent. They have chemicals on them. But due to circumstances today, we're just gonna do that. And we're gonna put the cap back on. If the cap gets too messy, be sure and wash it off so that it's nice and clean. And that is Celia with Celia's Chalk and Place, and Adele, my sister Adele, with Adele Chalks It. And we hope you like our video.
And we'll post links on our pages so that you can order the transfers or the whatever you want to do. They also have a starter kit if you want to get started. That's like really reasonably priced. I think you save. I think
it's over $100.
It costs $99 and you get $240 worth of product. So anyway, we'll post the link to that, and you guys have a good day.
Bye.